I see a bunch of you all from the project feedback session yesterday, so nice to see you all. Hi, Abdullah. Cool, we can start off in the next 20 seconds. Letting few more people in. Alrighty. So, hey everyone, and welcome to Superhack workshop titled Building with Thirdweb. Joining us today is Joe, who's on the call with us, who will be taking us through this session. And with that, I'll pass it over to Joe to get the workshop started. Over to you, Joe.
Cool. Thank you very much. Quick thank you to everyone at the event today for letting us showcase a little bit about Thirdweb. I am Joe. I am a solutions engineer here at Thirdweb, and it is my job to help you guys build out your applications quickly and easily. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you all here. We should be able to see it. Thirdweb, we here are our development tool platform, and we're going to go through a little bit about what it takes to use Thirdweb. The flow, what are some of the benefits of our tooling, and how it can help you build some of the best Web3 apps in the industry. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, quick off, what is Thirdweb? If you guys have heard of us before, please let us know in the chat. Do a simple one or yes in the chat to let me know that you have heard of us before. If not, don't worry about it. Of course, Arian says, yes, I love it, love it. We are present, we are known. I'm glad you guys know about us. So for those of us who don't know, Thirdweb is the full stack open source Web3 development platform. What does that mean? That means that we are your one-stop shop for everything front end, back end, and on chain development. This means that you guys don't have to go through 3 or 4 different providers for your front end components, for your contracts, and even any back end processing that you might be going through. So, what exactly comprises our front end, on chain, and back end elements? So, front end, you can think of it as anything that the user interfaces with and looks at. These are going to be your wallet connections, in app wallets, SDKs to interact with your contracts. We have our recently released payment fiat on-ramper, as well as ecosystem wallets. For on-chain, right, this is anything that you guys are interacting with blockchain-wise. These include contracts and deployment tools that you guys can use to get your projects going and make these contracts that actually create the rules that govern your collections, your maybe you're doing contracts on smart accounts, right? These are what you can use to create the rule set that govern all of these contracts. So finally, backend. This is a really neat kind of area that we can talk about it through, especially through something called Thirdweb Engine. If you are not familiar with Engine, buckle up. We'll go through it a little bit here in this presentation as well. Um, these allow you to do things like gasless transactions, right? User experience and Web2 onboarding is going to be all about gasless transactions and making that experience even more seamless for Web2 users. We can do things like backend wallets that are secure to handle transaction throughput, and we can even do some really nice management through gas and nonce management for engine. So this is our core offering and what Thirdweb is really, really good at. And it's what comprises our full stack solution, right? Again, you're not going through 4 or 5 different providers for any of this. This is all within Thirdweb. It's all a part of our free and open source tooling that you guys can use for front end and on chain. Engine is another add-on that you can add for this platform, but it's free to get started. If you haven't already, go to thirdweb.com, click on get started. You can create your account and get started with our SDKs and contracts for free. So what does it look like on the front end, right? So connect, we were talking about wallet connections. We know that every application is going to need some way to connect a user's wallet to your application so you can start interacting with it. And here's a little bit of what that looks like, right? This is a fully customizable component. We support social logins through in-app wallets. So if you have logins like Gmail, Apple, we've recently added, I believe, Telegram, Barcaster, and Discord as well through social logins. So if you have a community that lives on any of these platforms, they can also onboard onto the Connect wallet super seamlessly and with very little amount of code, which I can go through and show you in a little bit later on in this presentation. So pain points, right? What does the Connect aim to solve, right? We need a way to onboard our users, especially Web 2 users who might not be familiar with EOA wallets, but we still need to cater them as well. We need a way for people to interact with smart accounts, right? If you are in the blockchain and Web3 space, you know about smart accounts and the benefits that they offer in terms of in contrast to EOA wallets, right? Where we can set different rules and different kind of setups around these accounts and provide things like gas sponsorship for smart accounts. And then finally, we need to provide a user experience that not only fits your brand, but also helps users navigate through your app, right? It is not very friendly user experience wise when you have to remember seed phrases and log in through signing messages that pop up every single time you want to do a transaction, right? These are kind of the pitfalls and pain points that we're trying to solve with our Connect component that is out and freely available to use to you all right now. So the solution is our Connect SDK, where we have a wide range of SDKs for use. These go through different platforms such as TypeScript and React. We have a Unity SDK for gaming. So anyone out there who are building games, you can feel free to build your game and then add on the Unity SDK on top for that Web3 connectivity. Super easy to do, and we'll go through it a little bit here as well. Another aspect of Connect is our pay modal. This is something that is relatively new, and if you are looking for a fiat on-ramper or give the option for your users to use credit cards to purchase, make purchases, do swaps, to top off on cryptocurrency, this is going to be a great solution for you. Again, this is part of our free and open source tooling for chains. What happens is the user, your developer yourself, can actually set this up, and we have a very cool uh, rev share model around this. So for crypto swaps, right, anything crypto to crypto, we take a 1% transaction fee, and we share 70% of that fee back to the developer. So not only are you giving your users a way to use credit cards, to use these transactions and cryptocurrencies, crypto to crypto swaps within your app. They don't have to leave your app. They're not going over to MoonPay, opening up a different window. It's all within your app, all within your connect button. It's a more seamless user experience. So not only you're providing that kind of UX, but you're also now able to monetize your users on a different method, right? So now not only is it just straight through the sell, but it's also through any kind of crypto to crypto swaps that happen through this on ramper. So really great and really neat way for you guys to get started and start earning money really quickly for your apps. Now, after Connect, right, we talked a little bit about our full stack solution. So we had our front end, and now we have our on-chain stuff. And with it comes these idea of contracts. We have a whole host of pre-built contracts if you're not familiar with it already. These contracts are audited. These contracts are already deployed on the majority of chains. And so what happens is through these pre-builts, you're actually able to choose what kind of contract you want to deploy, whether it's anything ERC 721 through NFT drops. Maybe you're looking for addition drops, which would be your 1155 tokens, marketplaces. We have it all, and it's all available for you for free through our NFT Explorer page or Contract Explorer page, rather, on Thirdweb. So if you guys are looking to deploy contracts, these are the best and easiest ways to get started super quickly. You're not writing Solidity code. We have a very friendly UI front end that you guys can use for this as well. And so This is just another aspect of our full stack solution, right? So now you have a way for your front end, and now you have a connection for your on-chain interaction, right? You can deploy these contracts, load up your NFT metadata, load up your tokens, load up your items for your games through these collections as well. And we have, as you can see, we have a huge variety of them. Pick and choose, do multiple deployments of a single type, do one of every type. It really is up to you on how you want to deploy these and use them. So these are available on test nets. These are available on mainnets. We support over 2,300 now, I believe, different EVM chains. If you're working on an EVM chain, there's a really good chance we support it. You can see which chains we support at our chain list page, thirdweb.com/chainlist. And you can look through all of our chains that we support. So if it's just remember, if it's EVM, there's a good chance that we support it. And if not, feel free to reach out and we'd love to get it added to our list. Not only can you do contracts through our nice GUI UI, but you can also do it through your CLI. So if you have custom contracts that you want to build out, we support you. We have a very friendly package manager and SDK for it as well. And it runs simply with a npx thirdweb deploy command on your CLI, and you can deploy any custom contract. You can use our base contracts as a basis for these, and then you can deploy them on your own through the CLI. So very handy, very friendly function as well. Now on our back end, right, we went through front end, on chain, and now we have our backend service. So here is where we're going to see some really neat tech in the case of Engine. If you guys have heard of Engine, let me know in the chat. If you haven't, oh boy. So Engine is a really, really great piece of tech. It is a cloud hosted service, and you no longer have to worry about any sort of learning SDKs. If you can make a fetch request, you can do blockchain interaction with Engine. So Engine is kind of where we can do all of these backend services where we talked about with backend wallets, where we can do automatic nonce and gas management. We can have a very high throughput. Some of the applications using the engine are doing thousands of transactions a second through this service. You can host it yourself. You can do cloud hosting with Thirdweb as the provider, where we handle all of the updates, we handle all of the management for your engine instance, and you don't have to worry about anything. All you need to do is focus on the endpoint that we see here on this code snippet with engine URL slash backend wallet slash chain slash backend wallet address slash get balance. If you can make a fetch request, you can do blockchain interaction for your applications. So Engine is a really, really great part in all of that. So some of the SDK platforms that we support currently on our Thirdweb SDKs is TypeScript, React, React Native, Unity for those gaming people, Solidity if you're making your own contracts. And recently we've added .NET support. This means that if you're using Godot instead of Unity to build games, you can actually use our .NET SDK. If you're making Windows applications, you can use our .NET SDK, right? So we are truly the full stack solution, not only in terms of what you need to build Web3 apps, but also the platforms you can build Web3 apps on as well. So I want to go through a little bit of what the components might look like and what you can expect to have in your code. So for our connect components, we have a really nifty React component for connecting your button. One line of code, connect button, client, and then you pass in your API key, which you should see as very familiar with any other service that you might be using, right? API keys are very common, and that's it. After you have that, you are good to go and start working with your connect component that we showed earlier, and to walk through it. We also have some really helpful React hooks. For example, one of the common use cases around our applications is we need the ability to get the active account, right? What is the account that's currently connected? And you can use it simply by the use active account hook. If you need to get the balance of an account, right, it can also be very helpful in certain DeFi applications. You can use the use active balance hook. So these are hooks are just on top of the SDK that we offer to really help people utilize the functions and all of the performance enhancements for the SDK in regards to React here. And so here, I want to talk a little bit about our Unity SDK. So what you see on the left-hand side is a fully functional game that is out already and it was built by one individual on our team in 3 weeks from nothing to what you see here using our Unity SDK. Beauty, the beauty of this is that you can make your game fully blockchain agnostic, right? You don't need to worry about any kind of chain integrations until the very end. Once you make a game that is fun and very compelling, then you can go ahead and use our Unity SDK on top of that, right? So if you're already making a game and you said, hey, I want to add blockchain to it, you can use our prefab manager, our prefab for the Thirdweb manager here, and you can add what chain do you want to support? What client IDs do you have? What smart wallets do you want to support? Anything of these data types as well, all in one place, all in one prefab manager, and you are already connected to blockchain interactivity. That's all it really takes from your end. So don't worry if you're thinking I already made a game and now I can't add blockchain to it. That's not true. With Thirdweb Unity SDK, you can do so very, very quickly. And so I'm going to go through a quick tech demo. I got about 3 minutes because I want to give you guys plenty of time for questions. Arian, don't worry about the big question. I am here to help and answer any questions. So real quick, here's what a very simple kind of minting site might look like for individuals, right? We have a way for people to claim NFTs, to view their NFTs as well. So first up, we need a way to sign in. And through Thirdweb, we have Connect wallets for EOA wallets. We have social login support as well. And so for maybe your very classic Connect button where you want your EOAs such as MetaMask, Coinbase Wallet, all of these, we have over 350 supported wallets. This is it. This is the code snippet. As soon as you put this in, you are good to go for your Connect. And this is what it looks like, right? A user clicks on that button, tries to sign in, and they can see all of their EOA wallets. They can see at the very bottom all the 350 that we support, as well as social logins. If there's a time where you want to have only social logins, perfect. We can do this code snippet down here at the bottom and specify exactly which social logins we want. In this case, we can see we want Google, Apple, Facebook, phone, Discord, email, and Farcaster. And that looks like this. If you notice, we only have our social logins now. We don't have any EOA wallets. So this is very, very friendly for applications that want to onboard Web2 natives, right? These are people who may not want to worry about seed management, creating their own wallets like MetaMask or Coinbase, and they just want to use their Gmail account. Maybe they just want to use their email. This is very, very helpful for that situation. And so next up, we need ways to kind of claim our NFTs. We need to be able to interact with our contracts to build these. Super simple for this instance for claiming, we have our contracts, right? We have this claim button component that we can use, and it's very simple to use. All you do is specify your contract address, what chain you're working with, and what type of contract this is actually working on. In this case, it's an 1155. So once a person clicks on that traditional claim, this is what the user will see, a pop-up on their MetaMask. They can go ahead, go through and claim it as well. I mentioned pay, right? I mentioned Thirdweb Pay as well for Connect. And so what does that look like for a user? This is the very similar, very same Connect claim button component. And the only difference is we have this pay modal section towards the bottom where we specify the name of the item as well as an image. And so this is really neat because now when a user clicks on it, they see this beautiful item shopping list on the left-hand side, and they can choose whether they want to purchase with a credit card, which will guide them through the flow, as you can see on the right-hand side, or they can purchase with cryptocurrency and select a wallet that they want to use for that purchase. And so finally, with our SDK interactions, one of the common things is viewing the NFTs a user has. And so to do that, very simple process. First, we want to know what contract we're working with. In this case, we can use one of our get contract extensions. This is a really neat way. We have a huge host of extensions to use to interact with contracts. This abstracts all of the low-level code. We do it on the back end. All you need to worry about is what extension to call. In this case, get contract, pass in our contract address. And now we're using another extension to get the owned NFTs for that address. Very simple. And now we can display it on our Mint site. Easy peasy, very simple to use. And so that's a little bit about Thirdweb. As you saw, we covered quite a bit in a short amount of time. It's very simple to use. Nothing was over I believe 10 lines of code. Um, Nothing is very, very hard or difficult, right? We've abstracted all of these different processes behind our extensions. We've abstracted all of the hard work behind our Connect components. So if you guys want to get started on working with it, thirdweb.com is going to be the place you be. If you have any questions, feel free to join us in Discord. Ask your fellow developers. Join us for office hours that happen every Monday. And so, yeah, we'd love to have you. It's free to get started. Remember, we are a full stack open source code base. So if you want to go look at our GitHubs, you absolutely can as well. Finally, ambassador programs. We are always looking for individuals who want to kind of create content around Web3 or Third Web. And a lot of our ambassadors come up for, I myself came up through the program and now I'm a full-time employee at Third Web. So there's a lot of room and opportunity for growth, personal and professional, through these programs. So that's it. That's kind of the whirlwind tour about Third Web. I know you guys are all busy building your applications this week. So if you need to add some blockchain, if you want to add Web3 to your applications, on top of what you've already built, please consider Third Web and go to thirdweb.com to get started. Woo! All right. That's it for my presentation here. Questions?
Thanks, Joe. Seems like a lot of appreciation for you on the chat box. So definitely go and check that out. I
Absolutely.
see I see the questions as well. So if you want to take that up, I can see one huge question from Aryan. Uh, Aryan, if you want to unmute yourself, that would be great because that's like a huge list of questions. So you can maybe just get that clarified with Joe.
Oh, do we have Aaron?
I think so. I see him on the call. If
If not,
uh,
if not, that's okay. I can go ahead and read through the question here. So let's see here. As we know, account abstraction let me sponsor gas for users that don't have to pay any gas fees. Thirdweb is already a default factory contract to support that. Yep. It's not deployed on the Metal L2 testnet. It's like I'm using 6 to 7 testnets and my smart account not able to switch to this network due to the unavailability of factory contract on this chain. So you're saying you can either deploy your own factory contract, but the issue is how to handle both the factory contracts now, the default and the custom one, or you can deploy a factory contract for all desired chains, which Thirdweb makes it easy to do. But how can I deploy it across all chains efficiently? Okay, so the crux of this question is, hey, we have AA on a wide variety of chains, except Metal L2 testnet is not available. The biggest thing I can do for you is to have the chain Metal testnet. If you can get in touch with them, if you're in with their developers, have them reach out to us. We would absolutely love to have account abstraction turned on for this chain. This is something that it's not only Metal testnet. If you have any chains that you want this added on, let us know, right? Let us get in contact with these chain developers so that way we can work with them and turn on our infrastructure for these chains. So that way you guys can use these account abstraction tools very, very easily. You're right. You can absolutely deploy your own account factory on these chains. And in terms of kind of doing it seamlessly and a little bit easier, it would be a script that you would have to make on your end, right? Where you can define the different chains you're deploying on, as well as the address for these account factories. So kind of two-pronged approach here. Any chains that you want AA and you want Thirdweb's default account factory deployed on, let the chain know, let us know. In this, for instance, Metal, I've already noted it down. I'm going to be reaching out to the team and talking with them later after this call, so that way we can work on it. But if that's not an option, you can always deploy your own factory accounts on these chains as well. Well, let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, I want to book a
I
call with
got
Thirdweb.
one
Go ahead.
question. So should I proceed?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, like I'm quite familiar with the Thirdweb, like each and every part of Thirdweb. So it's best for the hackathon. So should we like use the session to show some cool stuff, or like with custom authentication and other things, we develop one DeFi or automated DeFi. So that would be eligible for the price, or should we have to go and use the session also?
So can you rephrase the question a little bit here? I heard some key points such as custom authentication. You're working with DeFi. Can you rephrase the question a little bit for me?
Yeah, we are using custom authentication with Thirdweb. Like with the Pro, you provides
Mm-hmm.
we can use our own custom endpoint to validate and give the account, a smart account and the personal
Mm-hmm.
account. And we integrate with the smart DeFi basically that will allow you to buy at certain point, sell at a certain point, what the DEX centralized exchange do. And we are thinking of adding like AI onto this one. Like we'll take a session and we'll allow them to use those AI models based off on a request rather than charging upfront like what the ChatGPT does. So we're thinking of that one. So we're using the session. What do you think on that one? So should we go proceed do that one, or?
I think that's a great idea. I mean, AI, sorry, AI. AI is, a very interesting sector right now in that it's polarizing, right? Which means you're going to have a lot of eyes on it. Two, it really is helpful, right? In the correct use case. So if you guys are building an application with AI in it, absolutely. I mean, we at Thirdweb use AI for some of our chatbots already. If and so we really do see the value in it. Um, if you guys are inclined to use AI to bundle in and use with your own applications for this week, like you mentioned, our custom auth is able to handle that for the authentication piece that you need. If you have any questions around it, I believe we're already having some individuals in the Discord for ETH Global. So we'll have individuals there. You can ask questions. You can come over to our Discord, ask questions. You can go to thirdweb.com/support and ask questions there. That way you'll have a ticket created and we'll be able to follow any kind of questions you have. All of our support agents are engineers, so we're very, very familiar with Thirdweb and how it works. But I say go for it. All systems go on my end. I think it's a great idea to combine those two pieces here for this week's session.
Okay, and apart of that one, we are thinking of just taking a session from users and don't use our own engine rather than just use one of our wallet to deduct the fund like as soon as the users what I call use our chat model or AI model. So like what do you think of that? And should we go and implement that engine onto our local, or just skip for now and
So
just
if you want to have the quickest setup, right? I do recommend the cloud hosted option through Thirdweb. I understand that if this is a one-off kind of just for this week's hackathon or hacking week, you can also self-host it, which we have guides on our website, on our doc site. We also have an option for railway deployments on Engine, which can help speed that process up along. Yeah, so I would say TLDR, the quickest route is always spinning up a cloud-hosted engine. If you are self-hosting, please use the docs that we provide. There can be some trickiness when configuring HTTP or local hosting for your Docker instances. But yeah, I mean, Engine, I personally believe everyone should be using Engine. It has the best transaction management. It has the best options for backend wallet usage where you can sponsor gas. Yeah, I love Engine. So I go for it, man. I'm always going to say yes to Engine.
okay. Thank you. That's all from me. So.
Of course. Thank you, man. Appreciate the questions.
Alrighty, I think we are on time, so I'll be just pausing the Q&A for now. But yeah, thanks, Joe, for the great presentation and joining us today. Thanks for everyone who were able to join based on your schedules. Feel free to connect with Joe in the partner Discord channel if you have any question, and I'm pretty sure that the Third Web team would get back to you whenever they're free. Cheers, everyone, and you have a great rest of the week. See you all soon.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.